So let's kick off with a brief introduction into who SFG20 are. So if you already didn't know, SFG20 is recognised as the industry standard for building maintenance specification, and for over 35 years has been committed to championing compliance and helping to keep buildings safe. So SFG20 was formed in 1990 by the Building Engineering Services Association, who are also known as BESA. This was made in response to the need for a standardised approach to building maintenance. So if you ever feel like you're constantly playing catch up with new legislation and regulation, SFG20 can support you with our growing library of over 1,000 maintenance schedules. These each include up-to-date guidance around what maintenance tasks need to be performed, by whom and how often. Each and every one of our maintenance schedules are created, updated and monitored in line with the latest legislation, regulations and best practices. This is all done by our brilliant in-house team of highly skilled technical authors. And don't worry, every time we update a schedule, we send out automated notifications to let you know what's changed. And we give you a side-by-side comparison of this, of both the old and the new schedule, and we allow you to implement updates at any time that best suits you. So there's no need for you and your team to do any complex research by yourself. And this actually allows you to save a huge amount of time, effort, and even money, which are all equally precious factors. And since well-maintained assets run more efficiently and are likely to last longer, this can help you to avoid costly downtime and even hefty non-compliance fines. So the next question on your mind is now likely, how exactly can the SFG20 standard be accessed and how can I use it effectively? All of our guidance is accessed by having a license to Facilities IQ. This is our intelligent software solution, which is home to over 1,000 maintenance schedules. It's the only way to put the SFG20 industry standard into practice and manage your compliance in line with legislation, regulations, as well as standards and codes of best practice that all affect building maintenance and safety. Let's now take a look at what's included in an SFG20 schedule. So an SFG20 maintenance schedule is a collection of tasks related to maintaining a specific asset or a building fabric. Each schedule contains the asset type name, the unique reference code, the task name, task criticality, timing, frequency, the skill set required, task instructions, and links to any relevant legislation and other supporting documents. So our maintenance schedules save you the hours of time that you would normally spend drawing up legally compliant specification to maintain your assets. We use a colour code system to indicate the criticality and legal requirements of different maintenance tasks. So this means you don't have to waste time prioritising your assets or sorting between statutory and non-essential tasks, which can take hours upon hours of time. So red tasks are statutory or legal, and they signify activities that may assist in achieving legal compliance. The term statutory denotes anything that's required by primary legislation and secondary legislation. Amber tasks are optimal, and they signify function critical and or industry best practice tasks. They include maintenance activities that cannot be directly linked to primary and secondary legislation, but they should be carried out to prevent business disruption. Green tasks are deemed as discretionary or non-critical maintenance, and they include optional maintenance activities for assets or systems, which would have a limited impact on the business if they were to fail. And finally, pink tasks are deemed as business critical to ensure sector or organisation compliance, and they can be applied by tailoring a schedule in Facilities IQ. So pink tasks are deemed critical to the operation of a business or a contractual and or operational requirement, but they are not a statutory obligation as determined by primary or secondary legislation. By using Facilities IQ, you can create maintenance regimes containing our schedules, which will then allow you to plan and carry out the required work. And you can do this easily by choosing an FM system who is a digital partner. And this brings me on to our brilliant digital partner programme. So if you've ever felt like this person in this image, we're here to catch you before you fall. One of the biggest reasons why people unwittingly fall off the SFG20 standard is simply because their FM systems do not contain the latest version of the standard. So in the past, it was all too easy to upload SFG20 content once onto your CAFM and then either not realise or forget that the SFG20 standard updates monthly. In fact, there can be up to 700 updates per year. The problem with this out-of-date content is that it can put your building's occupants at risk and render your organisation as non-compliant. So how does this all fit in? How does it all tie into our digital partner programme? Our digital partner programme connects FM systems such as CAFM, CMMS, and IWMS to Facilities IQ via our application programming interface, which is also known as an API. This allows SFG20 content to automatically populate into your system, including any SFG20 updates, which you can choose to implement at a time that best suits you. Not only does this save you hours upon hours of manual data entry and prevents the double handling of data, but it also helps to ensure that you're working to the most up-to-date version of the SFG20 standard and therefore staying compliant. Let's talk about how our Digital Partner Programme API works exactly and what are the benefits. It couldn't be easier. Once your FM system is integrated with Facilities IQ via our API, you'll be able to enjoy seamless integration of SFG20 content within Facilities IQ to your connected FM system. As mentioned earlier, you'll also receive SFG20 content update notifications, and you will be able to choose when to implement them. These will then flow directly into your connected FM system. By choosing a provider that's part of the SFG20 Digital Partner Programme, any issues associated with manual imports become a thing of the past, while also giving you the peace of mind that all maintenance works will be carried out in compliance with current industry standards, regulations, and best practices. So I'd now like to pass on to Vishak from Facilio, one of our fantastic digital partners, to introduce themselves and talk more about their integration with us.
Thanks, Jenny. Really happy to be on this webinar today. I think this is a good time to talk about Facilio and then how we can help you be compliant with the SFG20. So basically, Facilio is a connected CMMS or CAFM platform, and we help FM customers as well as owners and operators of large real estate portfolios operate and maintain their facilities effectively. So could we go to the next slide, please, Jenny? So Facilio as a platform is built for both types of companies. You could be a property owner, you could be a service provider, and we operate across multiple industry verticals. So it could be healthcare, it could be higher education, you could be working on commercial real estate. So we can really suit different types of properties because the Facilio platform is built to be flexible. And you can see a couple of our logos on the screen right here. So we've got large service providers like Cushman Wakefield using Facilio. We've got property owners like Brookfield using the platform. We've got British Land in the UK. We've got 7-Eleven, who's a customer out in the US. So this is just to give you an example of the breadth of the customer profiles that we've got on the Facilio platform. So we go to the next slide, please. So generally, when we see the way SFG20 is implemented within other CAFM tools, the fact of the matter is, even though you've got all the job plans and the capability to stay compliant, operationalizing that is a bit of a challenge because you've got to bring the job plans into SFG20 into the CAFM platform, but then actually setting up those schedules, applying them to the properties that you maintain, and then ensuring that the right engineers are selected, they go to site and complete these activities on time, ensure that the PPMs are not skipped, and you have the right reporting for your customer is a lot of manual work because you might be using a combination of Excel sheets for job scheduling, and you might be using, let's say, paper-based workflows on the field. So somebody has to come back into the system to put in data back into the CAFM platform. So it really means that SFG20 schedules are really hard to enforce and maintain compliance with. So could we go to the next slide? So this is where Facilio and the sort of connected CMMS approach can really help. So as we integrate with SFG20 and pull in that live data, we can ensure that the schedules are always up to date. but also ensure that this compliance becomes a reality within the business, because we can automatically apply the latest templates across the wide variety of buildings that you might be maintaining, and ensure that the right engineers with the right competency and skill set are assigned those jobs at the right times when they go to site and complete these activities. And you have the visibility and the insight in terms of what activities were done, what remedials were outstanding, and what compliance issues lie in the buildings to take action. And these reports and dashboards can then be presented not only internally, but if as an FM, you might be working with multiple customers, you might have this presented to your customers as well. So if you can just go to the next slide. So as regulations keep changing, you can use the sort of live sync with the Facilities IQ platform within SFG20's sort of product, and then get that data into Facilio. And this ensures that your job plans always remain up to date. So like Jenny said, you might have multiple updates throughout the year, and all of these updates will get continuously synced within the platform. And any of the audit requirements that you might have will be taken care of, because our reporting and dashboarding will ensure that all the related regulations are always up to date. So we can go to the next slide. And the best part is with using the Facilio platform, not only can you standardize and ensure compliance, but you can also start optimizing your schedules and the way you apply them to your properties, because there might be a lot of tasks that might or might not be applicable based on the kinds of assets that you maintain. So you can really customize the SFG20 job plans to make sense for the buildings that you maintain and the customers that you provide services to. And you can adapt it and configure it accordingly within the Facilio platform, and then deploy it at scale across a large variety of properties. And this ensures that you're also able to optimize the way you're able to assign resources to these jobs, because you might have a limited resource pool. So ensuring that the right jobs are being done at the right time with the right skill set is very easy to do. And we can also start ensuring that you've got budgeting and financial control within the platform as well. So customers can start getting insight in terms of the activities that are done, how much it costed. We have a whole procurement suite within the platform to extend that functionality as well. But you can also start budgeting for resource. So we can go to the next slide. So this is where Facilio can really help. So we can actually use the estimated duration data within SFG20 to help you understand how long you might have to have different resources for within the properties to maintain the compliance with regards to SFG20 standards. And this will allow you to understand resource requirements as well as tool time requirements for different assets that you might be maintaining. And you can start budgeting for this before you maybe enter into a contract with a customer as an FM service provider, so to ensure the right resources are available for that contract. Or as a owner of the property itself, you can ensure that you employ the right set of skill sets and engineers on the field to maintain SFG20 compliance throughout the financial year. So this can really help you budget for the right resources at the start of the year. And we can also then create insights in terms of actual time taken to complete these jobs versus estimated data, so that over the course of the year, if you'd like to make changes to the way you deploy resources, that becomes super easy as well. So you can just go to the next slide. So I'll talk about the integration with the SFG20 platform. So if you can go to the next slide. So this is where the Facilio platform would be connecting with SFG20. This is a couple of screenshots of the settings page within Facilio. So once you get the API key from SFG20, you can input that into the Facilio platform, and we can then start collecting the regime information from SFG20. So all the regimes that you have set up there would come through into the platform. And then we can also sync the regimes. So you can set up a sync duration so that let's say every month or every quarter, depending on the frequency you'd like to set up, these syncs can happen. And you can also set that up ad hoc by just clicking the sync now button. All the latest job plans will come through into the platform. You can just go to the next page. And the generated job plans from SFG20 will be appearing like so. We'll also have, like Jenny said, if it is a statutory requirement, you'll have that mentioned. You'll have the frequency mentioned. You'll also have any legislation that is required for that particular job plan mentioned. So all of that will be available within the SFG20 job plans that are pushed into Facilio. And this we can then publish. So you can see the publish button in the top right corner there. So by publishing this, you can directly apply this across your entire portfolio. Just go to the next slide. And finally, this is where you can start understanding your schedule itself in terms of the way you apply that to resources and assets on the field. So you can see we have a PPM calendar that shows you when these jobs are due and which assets they're due for. And we also have labor reports that can help you define what sorts of resource and skill sets you require to be and sort of basically maintain SFG20 compliance throughout the financial year.